Hello, my name is Jackie Russo, and I'm a registered nurse and dentist in Boca Raton, Florida. And today we're here to discuss a wellness program in a medical office, how it can benefit your patients, not only their health profile, but their longevity and quality of life, and how by connecting with your patients more holistically, you can create a profit center in your practice that requires no additional chair time or overhead. In fact, this is nearly a 100% team-driven program. Now, what I'm going to share with you today is a medical device that's scientifically validated and objectively measures nutritional levels in the body non-invasively in 90 seconds, more accurately than blood tests. I will describe a nutritional treatment regimen for your patients that's 100% performance guaranteed to improve antioxidant biomarkers. And I will show you how you can improve your patients' lives and enhance treatment outcomes profitably with no additional chair time and a very modest investment. Now, before we start, I'd like to tell you a story about how I got involved with this company about 10 years ago. You see, I had to retire from dentistry due to osteoarthritis in both of my thumbs. I managed my disease pretty well for about 7 years on anti-inflammatory drugs until 3 years ago when my symptoms began to worsen. I was in pain all over my body. I had fatigue and was starting to experience depression. I couldn't sleep from the pain, I was severely limited in my daily activities. My liver enzymes started climbing, and my physician decided to do extensive testing. After multiple blood tests, CAT scans, and an MRI, the conclusion was that these were just inevitable sequelae of my advancing disease. I was given narcotics, stronger anti-inflammatory drugs, and antidepressants. Now, to me, this was worse than a prison sentence. I was just about to turn 50 and couldn't imagine living the next 50 to 70 years of my life like this. Luckily, fatefully, I was introduced to a nutritionist who had this technology in his health food store, and I got scanned. My initial score was 14,000, which you will learn in a few minutes is a total failure. And guess what? I was taking over $400 worth of supplements every month and eating what I thought was a very healthy diet. So I was surprised, disappointed, but also relieved because at least we found an identifiable problem, which was something that my physician was unable to do. After 6 weeks of taking a different product and changing my diet, I had my life back. I now can play tennis, golf, bowl, do anything I want, and I no longer take any drugs. I believe this technology saved my life. And because of this profound personal experience, my team and I have created this wellness program. So let's talk about the Great American Diet. What do you think your patients are eating? Well, a Harvard medical study reported that out of 25,000 Americans that were followed over a 6-month period of time, not one single adult got the recommended daily allowance, which is, by definition, the amount of nutrition to prevent disease, not the amount for nutritional health, of 10 specific nutrients. Not a single one. So in 2002, the American Medical Association came out with a recommendation that all adults need to take supplements to bridge the gap. Now, I'm not sure what they were thinking about with children whose diet's probably even worse, but for the first time, the medical community admitted that we had a problem with our diet in this country. We know that we're the most overfed and undernourished country on the planet. We are literally digging our graves here in this country with our forks. So let's talk a little bit about the basic cause of aging and disease. The American Academy for Anti-Aging Medicine says 4 things happen in aging. We rust, we dry up, we blow up, and then we turn to dust. Let's talk about the rusting process or oxidation. This process occurs inside our body just like it does on this apple. Oxygen causes oxidation of the apple, which causes it to turn brown or age. This is happening on a cellular level inside our bodies every second. What happens if you squeeze lemon juice on the apple? It doesn't turn brown, right? Because the vitamin C in the lemon juice is an antioxidant, and it neutralizes the free radical, making it inactive. And this is exactly what antioxidants do in the body. They neutralize free radicals before they can do damage to our cell membrane and eventually our DNA. Let's look at this illustration that we use to describe this process to our patients. We see that free radicals are everywhere, created inside of our body when we're exposed to the sun, exposed to chemicals in our foods, the drugs we ingest, smoking, pollution, even the act of breathing and our own metabolism creates free radicals. Our cells take about 70,000 free radical hits every day, and if these free radicals damage the cell membrane, DNA damage will follow. And when that cell replicates, it creates two damaged cells. This goes on inside of our bodies, our cells dividing and creating more damaged cells until we reach an age that's genetically predetermined when one of our organs or more fails and disease ensues. We have to neutralize these free radicals before the damage is done, and that's where antioxidants come to the rescue. They act as a force field around the cell, and the more you have, the less likely our DNA is to be damaged. This antioxidant theory determines not only how long we will live, but what our quality of life will be. You see, it's not just about extending our lifespan, but to extend our health span. Now, obviously, we live in a pretty vain society with lots of baby boomers, the demographic most of us consider our target market. We don't want to age, and we're fighting it kicking and screaming. So baby boomers are single-handedly responsible for the wellness shift in our society. And isn't it interesting that nutrition is one of the most influential of environmental factors that dictate the expression of our DNA and how fast we're going to age? So let's talk for a minute about this business of discussing wellness and nutrition with our patients. Paul Zane Tilsner is a well-known author and business analyst, and he predicted that the wellness industry was going to be a $1 trillion business in 2010, and he was right. We know that our patients are buying anti-aging products faster than they can be created. And we also know that about 80% of adults take supplements in an attempt to feel better, have more energy, and be healthier. They have no idea if these products are even working. And there's also a lot of confusion to them about which products should they take. As healthcare providers, we should be participating in this market trend. We are perfectly positioned to talk to our patients about wellness and educate them about nutrition, raising their awareness and improving their lives. After all, isn't that what we are trained to do? So let's talk about the science and development of this medical device called the biophotonic scanner. It was actually developed not by Pharmanex as a gimmick to make its own vitamins and nutritional sell better, but at the University of Utah through a grant from the National Institute of Health in partnership with the Moran Eye Institute to study antioxidant status and the incidence of age-related macular degeneration. It's the only technology in the world that non-invasively and more accurately than blood testing measures antioxidant status in the body. It's being used for research in universities all over the world to study nutrition, aging, and prevention of disease. Pharmanex acquired the patent rights to this technology and spent about $100 million to bring this technology to the medical community in 2003. What we're actually measuring with this scanner is over 16 different antioxidants called carotenoids, which are the lipid-soluble antioxidants as they are found in the stratum corneum of the skin. These nutrients are the crash helmets of the antioxidant family because they can neutralize up to 10 free radicals before becoming inactive themselves. Now, since our bodies do not manufacture these nutrients, we have to obtain them from our diet in the form of very colorful fruits and vegetables or from high-quality supplements. Now, for me, at this point, I began wondering how this technology actually works, and I imagine you're wondering that too. The scanner is based on a phenomenon called the Raman effect, discovered in the 1930s by Sir C.V. Raman, who was awarded the Nobel Prize for describing the optical scattering of light waves. That's the principle of this scanner. When the light wave emitted from the scanner is reflected off of the carotenoid molecule, it scatters the optical signals in a characteristic spectral fingerprint unique to the carotenoids, which is detected by the scanner. The amount of Raman scattering allows Pharmanex to quantify carotenoid concentration in the skin. And I'm happy to provide you with much more detail of this information if you're interested. Please see my contact information at the end of this presentation for more. So let's talk about what the results look like. The scoring is set up like a report card for very easy and instant access. It's the red zone is red for a reason, and it indicates very high oxidative stress, accelerated aging, and compromised immune function. Patients who score here typically have chronic disease states, are smokers, take a lot of medication, and usually present with symptoms of fatigue, inflammation, and probably pain. Remember earlier on I said I scored 14,000 right here in the red zone. Now, orange is a D, and this is where a typical American diet of fast food, lots of sugar, people with lots of stress, this is where they are typically going to scan. We want our patients to be minimally at the 45,000 range. Optimally, we'd like everybody in the blue zone because patients in the blue zone are going to reduce their risk for degenerative disease. They are not going to be as susceptible to this accelerated aging. They're going to be able to manage their toxic load much better than patients down in this zone. So to ensure that this scanner is accurately measuring what I'm telling you it's measuring, it's been validated against the gold standard, which is blood analysis. And as you can see from this chart, it correlated almost perfectly. In fact, skin carotenoid scores are less volatile than blood tests and are more reflective of long-term lifestyle than blood testing, which changes day to day based on recent food ingestion. The scan results have also been inversely correlated with urinary isoprostanes, which are highly indicative of oxidative stress in the body. The higher the oxidative stress in the body, the higher the concentration of MDA in the urine, and the lower the scan scores. As you can see by the graphs in this study, the scanner scores were perfectly inversely correlated to urinary isoprostanes. All right, so if we can switch gears now, I'm going to assume that we might all be skeptically in agreement that the scanner technology might be real and what it's measuring might be relevant in our practices as a risk assessment tool. So what then do we do with this information? What do we do if we find out that a nutritional deficiency exists in our patients? Well, we need to educate them about the benefits of a diet rich in fruits and vegetables. This table lists the top 20 foods in order of antioxidant content. And according to the National Cancer Institute, we need to be eating 9 to 13 servings of fruits and vegetables every day. How many of you believe you get that many servings in a day? It's tough, isn't it? We talked about the Great American Diet earlier, and here again is the National Institute of Health recommendation for optimal health and prevention of disease, that same 9 to 13 servings of fruits and vegetables a day. Now, in their study, at least a few, but only a very few, of adults met these guidelines. So I hope you're seeing the overwhelming problem we have in this country and are starting to envision how you can become part of the solution by implementing a wellness program in your practice. Now, obviously, there's a disconnect between what we know we should be doing and what we are actually doing in terms of diet. So as healthcare providers, we need to be able to make treatment recommendations for our patients to bridge the gap between dietary needs and dietary intake. Pharmanex offers several choices with our wellness program, but the flagship product is LifePak Nano. It's a comprehensive multivitamin, trace mineral, phytonutrient, antioxidant, omega-3 product that's formulated for all adults 18 years and up. It contains the nutrients you would receive from a balanced diet of 9 to 13 servings of fruits and vegetables, plus all the other recommended food groups. It utilizes a patented nanotechnology to improve absorption of the lipid-soluble nutrients and has been shown in studies to be up to 10 times more bioavailable than comparable products, which means Pharmanex products don't have to be megadosed with nutrients that only serve to produce expensive urine. The product is performance guaranteed, which is another benefit. Guaranteed to improve antioxidant protection, or the company offers a 100% money-back guarantee to your patient. Now, to get the same amount of nutrition in a daily dose of LifePak, you'd have to eat this amount of fresh food daily. Now, we're not suggesting that supplements should replace a healthy diet, but rather be adjunctive to a healthy diet and bridge that gap between what your bodies require and what studies show we are actually eating. I love this funny slide. It's a tribute to the Mediterranean diet. It's funny, but sadly all too real. The photo on the right is a result of our great American diet. Over 60 pounds of sugar a year we're eating as Americans. We are living in desperate times here in this country. And when it comes to our health, we strongly believe that as healthcare providers, we can make a huge difference in the disease profile in our country. And if the patient benefits aren't compelling enough to consider implementing a wellness program, consider these sobering statistics. In most of our practices, we're still experiencing the side effects of a poor economy. Doctors have some of the highest divorce and suicide rates, and the saddest statistic of all is that 80% of healthcare providers in general said they would get out of their field if they could afford to, but most are trapped and cannot afford to retire. And unfortunately, part of the reason we experience burnout in our profession is due to our linear income model. As business owners who treat patients, we have no leverage, and we trade our time for money. We can only earn income when we're seeing patients, which makes it painful to take vacation. It's a double whammy, overhead and no production. I want to introduce to you a different financial vehicle, one where you can get paid even when you aren't working, because your patients will continue to use these Pharmanex products and will become loyal customers who will remain your customers even if they move and are no longer patients of your practice. This concept of residual income can be very lucrative and create financial freedom if properly implemented. Now, this wellness program can also be a terrific marketing and patient acquisition tool. It will differentiate your practice in a unique way and establish you as a leader for wellness in your community. We've already talked about the baby boomers who are looking for a partner in health. If you want to attract these types of patients, you have to offer the services that they're looking for. When we improve our patients' nutritional health, good things happen. We see accelerated healing and sustained remission with our chronically ill patients. We can enhance our treatment outcomes because nutritional support prevents relapse. And we can create a highly ethical source of residual income as a side effect of saving lives. Wow, that's a win-win. Now, for those of you who are still with me and may even already have a nutritional program in your practice, you might be wondering, so why should we choose to partner with Pharmanex? Well, let me start with the history of the company. Pharmanex was started by three highly regarded scientists who all got their start in the pharmaceutical industry. Mike Chang was actually the developer of Mevacor for Merck. Joe Chang developed an anti-inflammatory drug called Atodolac, also an anti-rejection drug called Rapamune, and many other groundbreaking pharmaceuticals. And Carl Gerasi was the father of the birth control pill, who works at Stanford University. These three scientists were frustrated by the pharmaceutical model of sourcing naturally occurring, effective ingredients from nature and then having to create a synthetic look-alike that might be effective, but often with side effects attached, all so that the pharmaceutical company could patent a drug and make gazillions of dollars off of it. So they decided to start a nutritional company using the pharmaceutical model based in science and research. So in 1995, they started up a company with $46 million in startup capital from some pretty impressive financial investors. And in 1997, they launched 5 products in 38 retail stores, like Rite Aids and Walgreens and CVS, and did about $50 million in sales. In 1998, Nu Skin Enterprises acquired Pharmanex, and in the first month, using a direct sales distribution model, the company did more sales than in the prior year using the retail model. Being able to educate patients one-on-one was a better way to address the confusion consumers have when given too many choices on supplements. Being able to monitor results elevates this program into the realm of science. The company was founded on science, and globally, Nu Skin Enterprises has over 100 PhD-level scientists on its staff. They partner with some of the most brilliant minds in the world, with scientific advisory board members like Koji Nakanishi from Columbia University, who developed ginkgo biloba, and Dr. Lester Packer, who authored the antioxidant theory of aging. The newest scientific advisory board members are Dr. Rich Weinrich and Dr. Tom Prala of LifeGen Technologies. This company has been featured on 60 Minutes, Time Magazine, CNN, and other media outlets for their anti-aging research in genetics. Just Google them and see what all they've done. They've published over 300 peer-reviewed articles on aging and are our partners in AgeLock technology, which is a platform that identifies the genes responsible for aging and develops natural products that influence the behavior of those genes, resetting the expression of those genes back to a more youthful level. This is exciting and innovative science, which we can talk about on another webinar. And we also work with Dr. Stuart Kim from Stanford University in the Department of Genetics. Now, to honor your time, I will wrap up by sharing with you how you can partner with us if you see this vision as we do. This slide describes the investment required to get started with your own wellness program. About $3,500 gets you a sampling of nutritional products to try yourself, the scanner, and all the support materials you'll need to start your own wellness program. We offer training and support in a number of ways, and we encourage you and your team to start the training process at corporate headquarters in Provo, Utah. There you'll meet the scientists, tour the research labs, meet the corporate leaders, so that you can really validate that the science, the company, and the income potential are real and relevant to you. We then support your office individually through webinars, training manuals, and resource materials, and can even often offer customized in-office training if that's what you choose. We recommend you start your due diligence by researching the literature on nutrition. Google PubMed and antioxidants partnered with any degenerative disease, and you will find thousands of scientific peer-reviewed articles. Two of our favorite books to read are The Antioxidant Miracle and The China Study. Powerful messages about diet and incidence of disease. Now, let me just take a minute to describe how you make a return on your investment. There's basically two ways to generate cash flow with this wellness model. The first is cash income to your practice from scanning. We recommend charging $20 per scan, and we encourage you to scan every single new patient and as many returning patients as possible. If you scan 8 patients a day on only a 4-day work week, you're going to generate $32,000 annually in profits. If only 2 of those patients a day go on a $65 nutritional product, the company will pay you an additional $46,000 in commissions. Now, just imagine what an additional $75,000 in profits would allow you to do in your practice. Fund your retirement, bonus your team, maybe take some time off to enjoy your family, or maybe improve your facility. Whatever your needs are, you can make it happen with this program. And all of this is a side benefit of making your patients healthier, enhancing your treatment outcomes, and establishing yourself as a leader in your community as an advocate for health and wellness. The worst thing that can happen is that your own health will improve and your financial health may improve as well.